Super happy.
It's been great seeing the work here. I think that it really is one of the best spaces I've ever seen these pieces in. Like I really hope they keep it as a cultural center here, because there are not spaces like this in the world. This is special, you know. It's really, really special. When we were trying to think of a title for the show, I knew a lot of our works had ideas of light and shadows. And a lot of our themes are about memory. And especially this building, having our pieces in this building, then it's going to make a whole new sort of resonance with memory. We talked with curator Carlos and Desiree about the title of the show. And quite often we have instrument, like this one's called Instrument of Troubled Dreams and The Infinity Machine. So we thought Factory of Shadows would be really nice. And it sounds great in Portuguese as well.
Even though we weren't really programming the show to have a lot of pieces with shadows in it, but it just turns out that like curtain,
yeah.
We didn't even think about that when we thought of the title, and then we were going to include curtain, but we didn't even think it had shadows in it. And then the same, like for To Touch, it's your shadow that makes the piece work. Infinity Machine, we never thought about, oh, the mirrors actually cast shadows. We always remembered it. We hadn't seen it for 10 years. We remembered it as just projecting light onto the walls, but the lights also project the shadows of the mirrors onto the walls. So there's all kinds of things that turned out with that title that are kind of interesting.
And the metaphor between shadow and memory is very strong with the work. I think the first time I came into the building, it was in October. We came to do a site visit, see, you know, what the place was about. And I was just amazed, first at its immensity. It's so huge. And then at the character of it and its history, the layers and layers of history.
We always love to show in spaces that have historical and emotional resonance, because we feel that it makes the work stronger, and somehow our work works together with the space. If we show a white box is okay, but it's so much nicer to have some history and some surface and texture and grit and dirt. And this place has got all of that.
Got lots of it.
Statue on outside, and I found a gramophone. I carried all this stuff to the attic. It's the highest place in the old city.
I think some of the spaces are the best spaces that some of these works have shown in, like Infinity Machine. It's absolutely a wonderful space for it. And also 40 Part Motet, which is shown in over 70 different shows over the last 20 years. This is one of the best sounding spaces it's ever been in, and also beautiful. It's just a beautiful space for it.
As well as the 40-part motet is a religious piece of music written in Latin for 40 singers in 1573, so it was very much in a religious context, which echoes beautifully the idea of this being a space for nuns contemplating God.
Our creative process, well, like the 40-part motet, Janet got a CD in the mail from a singer. She was listening to it. I came down in the morning and she says to me, "We've got to make this piece with 40 speakers and 40 voices." And so that was one piece that she instantly pre-visualized that it would be fantastic. And we're always amazed by Thomas Tallis. I mean, as a composer, to think he was composing that work 450 years ago or 500 years ago, and without computers, and being able to hear the different harmonies inside of his head and write it all down, it's kind of amazing. We're always trying to figure out what's the next piece we're going to work on, and what are we both interested in, because we have all kinds of notes in our notebooks.
Like the Infinity Machine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it was very much a process where it started off as one idea and then we tried it out. We sort of sketched things in the studio. We were hanging things that were objects and stuff like that, and I said, oh, it doesn't work. And then we have one bathroom in our old farmhouse, and we covered it with antique mirrors.
That are all kind of falling apart, so that everything's distorted.
And George was lying in the bath one day and he's going, maybe we should hang mirrors. So that's how it came about.
Yeah.
And then we encountered this piece of the sound for that. We normally either hire composers or make our own sound and stuff like that. But we found this, we were researching in the idea of music of the spheres. Then we found this sort of soundtracks that came from NASA that the Voyagers, the spaceships, had recorded in the 1970s.
It's hard to explain that, because you can't, there's no sound in space, but what they did was they carried a sensor, a probe, I guess. It was an antenna that picked up radio signals from the different planets. But when they sent all these numbers back to Earth, they realized that this data was in the frequency that our hearing is, and they could play the digital files as sound. So it truly is the music of the spheres. It's all stuff recorded by NASA, by the Voyager spaceships.
I think there's a connection between the sense of emotion, or the idea of a spirituality, maybe I could say. And I think that our work has that sense of magic and illusion that draws people to a sense of connection with spirituality.